This is a 45-day dry-aged tenderloin. Dry aging can definitely improve the quality and the taste of your meat. But is it really worth dry aging a tenderloin for filet mignon steaks? In this video, I'm going to talk to you about why I think it's not worth it, and especially why the cost and the waste outweighs the benefits. Let's dive in. So I've been dry aging for a really long time. Actually, this tenderloin was dry aged back in 2019. And I love dry aging, in particular for steak cuts. I've dry aged ribeyes, T-bone steaks, New York strips, and even tenderloins for a filet mignon cut. Now I know that dry aging looks a bit gross, especially on the outside, but it's the inside that really matters. And when you cut through and reveal what's inside, I guarantee you it's absolutely worth it. Dry aging in general just enhances the flavors and really gives you that beefy taste. And depending on how long you dry age for and how good your palate is, you may even experience other flavors, but that comes at a price of more waste. See, when you dry age, that outer shell is not edible. It's actually really gross and does not taste good at all, so you have to trim it all off. And as you guys already know, filet mignon is already really tiny as it is. Whenever I dry age, I always vacuum seal the steaks and then put them in my freezer so I can enjoy them later. And back in 2019, this was a great idea and I didn't have any regrets, but in today's current market with meat and other things being really expensive, and we know that filet mignon has a lot of waste compared to other cuts of meat. So, is it still worth it dry aging a tenderloin? With a cut so small and delicate like filet mignon, I decided to cook it using my sous vide. I wanted to make sure that I did not overcook it. This is a really expensive cut of steak, and more so if you're considering restaurant prices. And the sous vide really does guarantee that. Now to get a good sear, I decided to use my flamethrower. I wanted complete control. Once we got a good crust, my wife and I dived right in, and I gotta tell you, it's 45-day dry-aged filet mignon. You are definitely gonna notice a difference, and it was fantastic. But I can also tell you that I had some reservations, especially with the market prices of today. So, is it really worth it? Here's my final thoughts. Okay, so I have a couple of videos that are all about dry aging. I'll actually link one right now. If you're interested, you can actually go check out that video. And I kind of go into more detail specifically about dry aging. And I think I compare a ribeye, a 35-day dry aged ribeye, to a 45-day. But just to give you guys a quick overview for this video, basically the longer duration that you dry age, the more complex the meat and the steak's gonna be. And actually the longer that you dry age, the more character you're gonna get, and it's not always something that everyone likes. And I found for me, the sweet spot is anywhere between 35 days to 45 days. I think at 35 days, that's a great introduction. It's still really mild, but you're gonna get a much beefier taste, and you might even get some subtle hints or characteristics of maybe nutty flavors or whatever. Everybody's palate is different. At 45 days, you're gonna get even more character, and you're probably gonna start tasting a really subtle hint of funk, some sort of funk. And that's why I think 35 days and 45 days right there is probably the sweet spot. If you're looking for just a casual dry aged steak, 35 days is absolutely wonderful. It really enhances the steak and you're gonna enjoy it. If you're looking for a little bit more character, a little bit more development, but not too aggressive, 45 days is the next best level. Anything after 45 days for me personally, I don't like it. I feel like there's a bit too much funk, and I don't know, I guess my palate's too sensitive, but I could really taste a much more like cheesy flavor after that, and I just don't prefer it. And you're probably thinking, well, hey, there's a lot of waste. If we dry age less, will there be less waste? To an extent, yes, but it's not gonna make that big of a difference. That outer shell, that nasty looking outer shell when you dry age, is called a pellicle. And it's not edible, it's disgusting, it has a really bad taste, and you have to make sure to cut it all out. So in the video, you probably noticed I was really aggressive in cutting it all out because it tastes really bad, and I particularly do not like it. Actually, I don't know of anyone that likes that outer dry aged shell. So if you're wondering what a 100-day dry aged steak's gonna taste like, take a little taste of the pellicle and you'll get an idea. But yeah, I don't recommend it. So that outer shell is there no matter what. It's not going to be as thick or as deep, but you're still going to have loss. And when you're doing a tenderloin or a filet mignon steak, any loss is significant. So yeah, I mean, if you do dry age less, you'll have a little bit less waste, but it's not gonna make much of a difference. And just a quick note, if you are considering dry aging, you can do it at home. The key is just make sure the environment is optimal for dry aging. You can research that on your own. If you guys want me to do a video on dry aging, I can do that. Leave me a comment below and I'll be more than happy to shoot one, a general guide to dry aging. And one more thing that I want to mention, just in case you do decide to dry age at home, if you have any doubt, if there's any question marks going off in your head, throw it out, right? You should not be smelling any rotting or decay or anything funky. You should be smelling an enhanced beefy flavor. And if you're not getting that, or if you're seeing something that doesn't look right, better safe than sorry, toss it and start over. Okay, now let's get back to the tenderloin. So I personally just don't think it's worth it. There's just way too much waste, and especially in today's market where things are really expensive. The tenderloin that I used in the video to make the filet mignon cuts, the steak cuts, was actually dry aged back in 2019, end of 2019, right before the pandemic hit and right before we had the supply chain issues and the inflation go up. And I bought the whole tenderloin at the prices that it was back then. It made a lot of sense to me. It was actually a prime cut. I bought it, I dry aged it, and then I cut it up into individual steaks, vacuum sealed it, and freezed it so we can enjoy it, you know, occasionally on special occasions. But right away, I noticed that it had so much waste, especially when we ate the first two steaks. They're absolutely delicious, but there was way too much waste. And I really want to emphasize on that. Dry aging is amazing. The steak was amazing. It's leaps and bounds above a typical filet mignon steak that you're gonna get. I wish you guys could have tasted it for yourself, but the waste was way too much. I mean, it ended up being like a tiny little cut, and I think I got, what, like 5 slices out of it. Every slice was amazing, but for the at-home chef that's dry aging for themselves, I mean, do you really want to cut 25-30% of the tenderloin and throw it away, considering today's prices in today's market? I don't think so. Now, if you own a restaurant, that's a different story. You are charging your customers for that loss. You're including the waste, the loss, the inflation, all that, and that might be really risky too. Are your customers going to be willing to pay premium prices for a fantastic steak? It's going to taste amazing, but they're only going to get maybe 5-6 bites out of it, or even less. I think for the at-home chef, if you want to dry age, if you really want to dry age a tenderloin, wait until the prices go down a bit, try it out. You may really like it, or you may think it's not worth it. But for now, I think you should dry age a ribeye. I think that's a lot better and more cost effective. There's still a lot of waste. All steaks are going to have a lot of waste, but at least with the rib roast, you can get an 18-pound rib roast and slice that thing up into prime 45 or 35-day dry aged steaks, and you're going to have a lot that you're going to be able to save and enjoy throughout the year for really special occasions. Otherwise, I think for the tenderloin, it's just not worth it. That's it for me, guys. I hope you found this video informative. Check out some of my other videos, and I will catch you on the next one. Take care, everybody. Hey, everybody. How'd you guys like that last video? Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you get notified on my next video. And if you can, please share with your family and friends. I would really appreciate it. Here's some more content that I think you guys are really gonna enjoy. Check them out. As always, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Take care.